Guys, you're watching Go Doctor, and today we're going to be doing a ranking of doctors. Now, to start off, there's no bad doctors. I love all the doctors. We've been very lucky to have every actor who's played the Doctor be a good Doctor. There's no bad. Of course, they've had their bad moments. Every Doctor's had their worst moments. You just think that's not doctory, or that's really cringy or bad what the Doctor's done. But he's also had his epic I am the Doctor moments, which Jodie Whittaker had on her first episode, but she won't be included in this list because it's not fair. She's only had one episode, so she will be added into this ranking at a later date. But today is going to be 1 to 12, and it will be included with the War Doctor. So yeah, worst to best, but there's no worst doctors. They're all the Doctor. We have been lucky enough to have decent actors to play each role. But anyway, let's begin to our ranking. So at last but not least, the Fifth Doctor is going to be at the last point of these 13 I'm going to be reviewing, because his era is quite boring, I find. I'm not a fan of it. I know he's more human than any of the other Doctors. He's done it in a different way and he's made it unique. And meeting him as an actor, I've met him at London Comic Con, and he's such a nice guy to meet. But he's not something I would jump onto. What a Doctor should be watched today. He wouldn't be on my list to watch because there's not a lot I like from his era or his Doctor. But I do love the Five Doctors. I think that's amazing. A brilliant multi-Doctor story. It might even be better than Day of the Doctor. But he's sadly going to be at the bottom of my list. Next up, we've got the Sixth Doctor. Now, his era, everyone can always jump on him to put him on the last of his pile, but some people have got him on his first. It's a Marmite situation. You love him or you hate him, especially when he has some bad moves of choking his companion Perry. And he's an odd one, really. I'm just going to put some background Doctor Who music on just to interest the video. So yeah, it's just like, I don't know, he's a weird one. I can't get into his stories, but he's certainly a good actor to play the role. He makes it his own in his Big Finish stories. He's good in comic book form. I like that. I love his comics with his companion Perry and Frobisher. Now that is a good companion, the Doctor and Frobisher. So if you want to get into the Sixth Doctor, comics is probably the best way forward for that. Or Big Finish, they do wonders on him. But he's sadly not high in my ranking because I can't get into his Doctor. And his regeneration weren't a proper regeneration as well. The BBC just treated him horrific. It's the BBC's fault for letting the Sixth Doctor down. That's why he's at the bottom of this list. Now, next up this is where everyone's going to be hating me, the First Doctor. I can't get into the black and white now. I'm not a fan of black and white, but I do try. I've got a couple of First Doctor episodes I've watched and tried to get into. I've watched 10th Planet twice, and the very first episode, because you have to. I do respect the first Doctor. Adventure in First and Time do him wonders. He is incredible. David Bradley does portrayal of William Hartnell so well, and you get to see, and that's made me love William Hartnell even more with that adventure. And of course, he's appeared in Twice Upon a Time with David Bradley. He's also appeared as other actors, but he left the show because of his ill health. Sadly, he didn't want to go, but they forced him onwards because of his ill health. He couldn't continue, which made some of his episodes him being very weak or missing from scenes. Also, there's a lot of First Doctor stories and the Second Doctor stories that are missing from the BBC archives, so you can't really watch everything of his era. But I just can't get into it, so I'm going to have to put him at a lower place. Next up, this is a weird one, the Seventh Doctor. First Doctor I've ever met. He's a nice lad, he's a nice guy. He used to be my favourite classic Doctor. I didn't watch a lot of classic Doctors, so he was my favourite. But now I'm grown up and I've looked at it, and he's not the best, which is a bit bad. But I'm sure there's a lot of you who think he's amazing, and I think he's a good actor, and I think he does make the Seventh Doctor dark and graphic, but also he makes him happy and silly. He knows what's going on. He plays an act, but really in the inside he's got it all up here and he's dead ahead. He's probably one of the cleverest out of all the Doctors, to be fair. But sadly I can't get into his era as much as I used to and want to, so he's down on the list. Next up we've got the Second Doctor. This is because of the black and white that brings him down. I love watching him though. I would love it in colour. I wish he was in colour because I think he's a good Doctor. He's very Matt Smithy and also not at the same time. He is why Doctor Who's carried on. William Hartnell's ill health made the regeneration happen, but if Patrick Troughton didn't do well, the show would have just ended. So he had a lot riding on his back to make it the first Doctor that's ever changed into a new person. So he has a lot, and that's why I have respect for him, and he's up on this list quite high than other Doctors. Next up is the Fourth Doctor, and everyone's going to kill me now because I've put him low on the list. But the Fourth Doctor, he's iconic, and yet again he's silly and he can be angry at times. So can any Doctor be angry at times, but I just prefer other Doctors, and he wouldn't be on my list other than Genesis, because Genesis is quality. Yeah, you've got good stuff from his era that's leaked out. You've got him with Sarah Jane, and you've got other companions that help and make it intriguing, but I don't know. I would prefer to watch other Doctors' eras than his, so he has to be low on the list. Would you care for a jelly baby? Next up is the Eighth Doctor. Now, why have I put the Eighth Doctor above all these legendary Doctors? Because the Eighth Doctor's had the least screen time. I'm not including the Big Finish or the comics, although I love him in the comics, and I'm sure Big Finish does yet again wonders for his Doctor. But I'm going to have to say I'm not a fan of the TV movie. I think it's cringy. I think the Master's terrible. So why is he up on this list? Because of that 5 or 7 minutes he had on the time. And they were amazing. That his regeneration into the War Doctor was incredible, and he was the Doctor. That's put him way above others for this reason, that he's a mystery. We don't have a clue what his era is, and that's what Doctor is. It's a mystery. So he has to be up on this list for being a mystery and amazing. So yeah, he's up on this list for the mystery, not to watch on TV, just because Doctor Who's meant to be a mystery, isn't it? Next up is the Third Doctor. Now, the Third Doctor is my favourite classic Doctor. He is the James Bond legendary, amazing Doctor. He does wonders. He is incredible. Sarah Jane and the Third Doctor, him being stuck on Earth because of the First and the Second Doctor's actions of interfering, is amazing. I love his era so much, and I could go back and watch it so many times. I can't stress this enough, that if you haven't watched the third Doctor, watch it, because it's so good. It's incredible. I can't stress it enough. Next up is the 11th Doctor. Now, the 11th Doctor is the first new Who Doctor, and he's on the lower of the list because I think this is mainly because I couldn't get over David Tennant. I was like, oh, he's not better than David Tennant. And then when he's finally about to leave, on the name of the Doctor, I got used to his Doctor, and I was like, oh, he's good. And I hear he's going to leave, and I'm like, oh, I just got used to this Doctor 3 seasons in, because I was in denial of David Tennant. But watching back, he's good in small doses. He's not good watching a full-on, because he's very silly doctor, he's a childish doctor, but good at small doses. If you watch a few of his episodes, you're like, oh, he's a good doctor. But if you watch it all at once, for me personally, it's not as good. But he is the Doctor. He is a brilliant actor to play the role. He has incredible moments, and Geronimo, he is to the Doctor to a T, and I love him for it. But I love other Doctors more. If I had an episode to watch back, it wouldn't be from his era, probably. Next up, we have the War Doctor. Yet again, he beats the legendary Matt Smith, Tom Baker, the first Doctor, because of the mystery. Doctor Who is all about mystery. And, yeah, the mystery of the show. So War Doctor is up for mystery. He's only appeared once, and he's done Big Finish, and he's in comics. And they all do him wonders, like any other Doctor. But of only appearing once, and the mystery, and I love the Time War. Anything that gets mentioned about a Time War, I'm intrigued. So I'm intrigued about his Doctor more, because I want to know everything about the Time War. So that's why he's up on this list, because I want a dark Doctor, but I also want to know more about his past. And he's a past that we can't look into, so it's intriguing. So he's up on this list for the mystery, which Doctor Who is all about, mystery. Next up is the 9th Doctor, fantastic, Northern Doctor. He is incredible. I watched his series. He's only a one series person, and it's so good to get into. There's not a bad episode in his era, because there's only one good full-on series. And his regeneration, giving up his life for Rose, is very Doctor-y. He's just come out of the Time War, so he's all angry, and Rose has to make him better. And yeah, it's just a good Doctor. He's so easy to get into. It's just everything's there. Just give it a go if you haven't watched the 9th Doctor. I can't believe you haven't. And I'm so happy, I'm privileged to have met him in person. I got his autograph. I mean, not an autograph. I got his photo at London Comic Con. And he's just a nice guy. The acting is incredible, phenomenal. And in the words of the 9th Doctor, he was fantastic. Next up, we've got the 10th Doctor. Now, the 10th Doctor is the Doctor that brought me into the show. No other Doctor could have brought me into the show. No one other than this man. I loved him as a kid. Obviously, I was upset about him leaving, so I didn't like Matt Smith probably as much as I could have, because I was in denial of it, because he was the Doctor that brought me into the show. It was the golden era. Doctor Who with David Tennant was the golden era of the show. Everyone had cards at school, everyone was talking about it, it was a constant thing. We were playing it in the field. This was the highlight of Doctor Who era for me, because it's David Tennant, and I've got to meet him again, and he's such a lovely guy, and he said he would return. So he is a massive fan, and he is continuous to continue with this Doctor, because he knows the fans will love it, and I would love it. I need him back, because he's such a good Doctor, and I've loved his era so much. There's not a bad thing from his era. If I was going to say, oh, what Doctor should we watch, it'd be David Tennant's era, because it's amazing. Everything is amazing. Russell T Davies made his Doctor incredible. David Tennant as a fan knows what we want and what we don't want, and he's incredible as it. And allons-y. Finally, at least, not least, the best Doctor for me, my favourite Doctor, if you haven't noticed. Who's that in the background? 3 pictures of the 12th Doctor. Peter Capaldi is my favourite Doctor, and this is a Marmite Doctor, I know, because everyone's like, oh, he's too old, oh, he's not the best Doctor. But if you listen to this theme tune, it's breaking the wall. The 12th Doctor. And I love his era, I love his characters, I love everything about this Doctor. This is Doctor Who to a T, and this is a Doctor I'd watch every episode from. He's a fan of the show. I've met him. He's incredible. He's kind as a Doctor and as an actor. And you look at him and see other doctors in his incarnation. And I love the way his doctor teases and quotes himself. Would you care for a jelly baby? Geronimo. He does it all. He says and quotes other doctors, but also makes it his own. He's a very dark doctor that mellows in time as Clara makes him better. Clara does damage his era a bit. Series 9 is terrible, but still watching him in Series 9 is incredible to watch. Series 10 is my favourite series for the 12th Doctor. I love the way he went out. Everyone seems to not be keen on it, but I love the 12th Doctor's ending. I thought it was perfect, and I loved him from the very first episode, and I was ready for the 12th Doctor to continue on. And I'm sad that he's gone, but he will always be the Doctor, and we had to let him go. So yeah, go forth with being kind, never cruel or cowardly, never give up, never give in. His Doctor was amazing, and he did have some bad moments like every Doctor did, but he's certainly the Doctor that I would watch continuous, and he would always be a brilliant Doctor in my heart. But we'll have to see what Jodie Whittaker brings, because I've loved her in her first episode. I've built up on the hype of the 13th Doctor, and I am willing for her to beat the 12th Doctor. I hope she does, because I want to enjoy the show as much as I've enjoyed Peter Capaldi's era. But who knows? But Peter Capaldi is my favourite Doctor, and I'm just in awe of his era, of his Doctor, everything. I'm sad to hear that he won't return. He doesn't like the Sonic for reasons of his own. He doesn't, as an actor, he will not return to play that role, he says. But I hope he changes his mind, because I need the 12th Doctor back in my life. So that's it today, guys. That's my ranking of Doctors. I'll have to see where the 13th Doctor takes her place. She could come first, she could come last. We don't know. But whatever happens, she is the Doctor. Whether everyone's still thinking, no, she's not. She has her moments in her first episode that she is the Doctor, so you need to give her a chance. You need to give that era a chance, because it's fresh and new, and it's just getting its steps up, ready to make its mark on Doctor Who's history, and to bring Doctor Who into the 21st century all over again, like Russell T Davies did. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. You've been watching Go Doctor Who, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!